All right, 6 o'clock. Call to order the Bucksport Town Council budget meeting for Thursday, April 15th. This meeting will be held virtually and can be viewed on local cable channel 1303 or via the internet by going to townhallstreams.com and selecting Bucksport. Again, you can email questions or comments prior to or during the meeting to Susan Lassard or call 469-7368. We have a lot of folks online tonight, so I would ask everybody to mute their mics, please, until you're called on to present. With that, Jake, roll call.
Councillor Eastman?
Present.
Councillor Morrison?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Bissonnette?
Present.
Mayor Stewart?
Present.
Councillor Ormsby?
Here.
Councillor Downs?
Here.
And Councillor Rankin?
Here.
Next item is consideration of summer events. Community and Economic Development Director, Rich, you got the floor.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Just going to give you a quick presentation of one of the events that we're looking at. It's the REITs Across America Mobile Education Unit, and here's a quick 2-minute video on that.
This is the REITs Across America Mobile Education. I get really excited. You get super excited, wondering what the day is going to be like, and who you're going to meet, what they're going to say. Experience inside the trailer is somewhat equivalent to coming to headquarters. Our mission statement at REITs Across America is we support, remember, honor, teach. I love when people say, oh my gosh. It's an awesome community seen by everybody in the United States. Thank you. Have a great day. People off the trailer are really excited to do more and wanting to do more. Learn something that they didn't know about Across America. Never know who's walking around the freeway, get hooked up. You never know their story. And now, but kids that be in combat, I could ask them, would you like to do this? It could be a 90-year-old World War II veteran, or it could be a sixth-grade student. You just never know who's going to walk through that. Heroes, you deserve this a long time coming. I kind of get teared up when I start doing this. So, thank you. It is one of the most rewarding parts of my job. I get to welcome a Vietnam vet home and say thank you. I just appreciate it. Remember. A lot of kids don't even know what a veteran is. It's a great feeling. So, what it is that we do, they get super, super excited and usually want to be part of it. Thank you. Our mission statement is remember, honor, teach. Every one of those reads is thanking the veterans. I want them to appreciate what our fallen vets did for us. We also have to honor the men and women that are serving today and say thank you to them. Not only to the men and women that are serving, but to their families too. Thank you for coming out. We've been to truck stops, been to truck shows. We've been to festivals on the beach, NASCAR, parking lot of the big fishing derby one time. I just encourage anybody to not worry about where we're going, where we've been. Got an idea for an event? Reach out to us. It never gets old. Never, ever. He's really excited. It's beautiful. We're lucky to have it. To be able to go around and share. Off to the next one. We'll be on the road tomorrow. Every day is a new day. There's days Jennifer and I start early in the morning. We finish late at night. We go to bed tired, but we wake up rejuvenated in the morning, ready to do it again. It is the most awesome experience I've ever had in my life.
All right, and that's everything there. So basically, the REITs Across America Education trailer, it's 1,500 square feet, mostly level hard service. We have that. 30-50 amp power, we have that as well. They're looking for the weekend of July 16th, 17th. Today they're in Utah. They just come back from Phoenix, Arizona. They can hold 20 people indoors. As you can tell, they've got it COVID where people are wearing masks and all. And that was Stephen Brand from Orland who is in that video, and he reached out to the town. He's still hold on to those dates for us, but I do have to get back to him to let him know if that is something we'd like to have on our waterfront this summer. There's some other events as well. 10 Terry Doty. Why don't we take this one first? That way I can get back to Stephen tonight, if you guys would like to take that up.
Any questions for Rich? Everybody okay with him going forward with, I guess, is there anybody that's not? Okay.
And Terry Doty from the Bucksport Bay Business Coalition is looking to do some music events, some smaller music events on the waterfront, and maybe some little bit bigger ones later this summer, of course, when we get up to the 100-person limit out on some private properties. I don't know how you want to handle that. Do you want these people to come forward when they are looking at the events? Do you want to take it on a case-by-case basis like we just did with the Wreaths Across America, or how would the council like me to handle that from internally?
You said she wants to do stuff on private property?
Also on the public property, some smaller ones down on the waterfront by the marina.
Yeah, I'd want to bring them forward as they come, Rich. That way the chief can get involved with it too, to make sure we're covered that way.
Okay.
And I assume Sean is Sean here tonight?
I am.
Are you okay with the Wreaths Across America one?
I am. As long as they go by the rules, and I'm all set with it.
Okay. Is that okay, Rich, going forward with the other ones as they come?
Yes, and I think Kathy had a question, but yes, sir.
Do you have any dates yet, Rich, or no?
For Terry or for the Wreaths?
For Terry?
For Terry, I do not have any solid dates. She did mention to me just before this meeting that she's getting inquiries about Ghostport, but I told her we'd want to take that as we get a little bit closer, or when she gets some dates.
Because my concern is if she has weekly, and we don't meet weekly, so we need some dates ahead of time for our meeting. That's just a thought.
I'll talk to Terry after this meeting and see if she can put together maybe a list of dates that she's looking at and have her be part of the next council meeting, if that's okay with the council. I know we got some more budget workshops next week, but I don't think it's as heavy as tonight's.
Anybody else? Is that it, Rich?
That's it until I come up for my budgets.
And Rich, where were they going to put the Wreaths Across America? What was the location of that?
I think it would be great if we could do it over at the CSO building where the memorial is for the veterans.
Okay.
But if it's not big enough, then I would think the town dock parking lot.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All set, Rich?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go on to the budget items. We've got 18 social agencies. What we've done in the past is we have, I think, written presentations from most all of them. I will call the agency as they're listed here on our agenda. If you'd like to have a couple moments to say a few things about what your ask is and what your organization is about. If the council has any questions, obviously, go ahead and ask. Everybody's all set. We'll go forward. The first was the American Red Cross.
Hi, everybody. Liz Thompson here, representing the American Red Cross here in Maine. Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Liz, real quick, I just want to let everybody else know that this is the organization's opportunity to present their information. Obviously, the final budget will be enacted a little bit later. So once you're done with the presentation, you're free to go. You don't have to hang around because we're not going to make any decisions one way or the other on your request. So.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
So I am here, like I said, representing the American Red Cross and supporting our request for funding for $2,500 for the upcoming fiscal year. I thought I would go quickly through our 5 lines of service. I'm fairly new to the Red Cross, and before joining the organization, didn't quite understand the depths of service we provide. So I thought I'd run through that. One of our founding line of service was our service to the armed forces. We provide case management, assistance, and resources to active military members, veterans, and their families, and help them, particularly help them during moments of crisis, connecting military members and their families. We also have, you might be familiar with our training services. We offer CPR, babysitting classes, and other programs just to help Bucksport and other communities be better prepared to react in emergencies. Our third line of service, international services. I was amazed to learn that the Red Cross is, in fact, the largest humanitarian effort in the entire world. So across the globe, we have a network of Red Cross and Red Crescent societies that worked together to alleviate suffering during conflict and then help respond to disasters and disease outbreaks across the globe. A more familiar line of service would be our disaster services. We respond to 60,000 disasters across the globe every year. In Maine, those are most often home fires, and we step in and help those affected by home fires to help make sure they have food, shelter, their basic needs are met. And then we also provide preparedness trainings and help prevent disasters by installing smoke alarms. I noticed that over the last year, we did install a few smoke alarms in Bucksport. We also responded to 4 different disasters across Hancock County last year, the largest of them being in the town of Bucksport. We assisted 10 individuals impacted by those disasters and provided over $2,400 in financial assistance to support costs associated with food, hotel rooms, clothing, and other essential items like medications or glasses and things like that that might have been lost in the fires. And then lastly, our blood services, our Blood Saves Lives program. We provide 40% of the country's blood supply. So anyone needing blood in Bucksport, it might be while they're battling cancer, they may have experienced a car accident, they may have sickle cell disease, or even be fighting COVID-19. They rely on the Red Cross's blood supply. We hosted 2 blood drives in Bucksport last year and several more across Hancock County. In those 2 blood drives, we collected 37 units of blood, which has the potential of saving or impacting the lives of 111 people who need blood. So a couple just things I wanted to highlight that we've adapted to during COVID-19. We started last year in June, started testing all blood donations for the presence of COVID antibodies. So that helps the community just raise awareness about the threat of the spread of the virus, whether or not they've been exposed. But it also helps identify potential convalescent plasma donors. Convalescent plasma with the presence of COVID antibodies can help as a treatment for people who are actively fighting COVID-19. And then, of course, we've invested in all kinds of different safety measures, replacement of an HVAC system at our blood donation center, contact-free temperature kiosks, obviously PPE and face masks, and then we're practicing social distancing across all of our programs whenever necessary. So we've really pivoted, just like everyone else, to challenges related to COVID. Dozens, hundreds, even thousands across our region of blood drives have been canceled due to COVID. So we have been adapting to host them at different sites, do special recruitment efforts, all of that, to make sure that our Maine residents have an adequate blood supply. So in closing, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to present tonight and for your consideration of our requests. I know the town of Bucksport will feel confident, or they should feel confident about the efficient use of your contribution. The Red Cross is really proud of the fact that an average of 90 cents of every dollar that we spend is invested back into the delivery of care and comfort for those who need it. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. But otherwise, thanks so much for the chance to present and for your consideration.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Thanks, Liz. Next up is the Buck Memorial Library. Is there anybody here from the library?
Doug Knobloch was on a short time ago, and he's, I believe, the one who's, there he is. He's right there. I see
Sorry,
him.
this is Liz again. I just want to apologize. I've never used this platform, and I hung up. So I hope there weren't any additional questions.
There wasn't. We let you escape. So
Great. Thank you so much again. Take care.
Doug, your microphone is muted. I think he just hung up on himself when he unmuted his mic.
Doug, are you there?
Your microphone is muted.
Doug, are you there?
Yeah, I can see him, but he can't. The mic button is right in the center of your screen at the bottom. If you run your mouse along that, you'll see a microphone, a hang-up thing, and a video. Unclick that.
I could usually unmute them from my desk here, but I can't seem to unmute him either.
Hold on just a minute. Let me see if I can. That's not what I wanted to do, but I can't unmute him. Dylan, can you unmute Doug? Or Jim, whoever's doing our meeting?
No, so we don't have admin privileges.
Well, I do and I can't.
So this is Rich. It says there's too many people on to do that. It would be up to each individual person to unmute themselves because of the number of visitors.
I see.
Doug, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, or I will go on and then we'll try to figure it out here. But all right, I'm going to move on to number 3, and we'll come back to Doug. Hopefully, we can get that figured out. Next one is the Bucksport Area Child Care Center. Is there anybody here from the Child Care Center?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Could you state your name for us? And we do have your package. And do you have any presentation you want to do for us?
I'm representing the Bucksport Area Child Care Center. My name is Carla Kopis. I am the acting director at this point. So I've been with the Child Care Center for a number of years, and then kind of went part-time, and then I'm kind of interim again, trying to help build the center in a stronger position. And one of our major needs at this point is 2 new playground sets. Our playground sets are 21 years old. They're barely on the safe side, and of course we have to accommodate licensing, which we will be licensed again in July. So we're at the point where any support, and we asked for $2,000, but any support towards 2 new play sets, which will definitely be over $2,000, would be of great help to the center and to the community. I'm here to present that, and I appreciate whatever whatever you can do for us. Obviously, we're nonprofit and just trying to keep it going strong. So
Great.
yeah.
Any questions from the council?
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
How many kids do you have going there?
We have 49 children. Actually, yeah, 49 is what we're licensed for, and we're pretty much at max. So, and we have a waiting list. So we're busy. So.
Thank you.
Yep. Welcome.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next is the Bucksport Area Senior Center.
Hello, my name is Bill Foster, and I want to thank everybody for your continued support, especially the support that you and many of your members gave to the Senior Center over this summer. We serve the seniors in our area. We serve them meals. We have, now that COVID's, well, I don't know where COVID's at, but I guess a little safer. Our dining room is still closed. We're delivering, like last month, we delivered 771 meals. So we're usually around about an average of 60 meals a day that we're delivering. We don't have the dining room open yet. We are waiting to see. We're going to have our board meeting next week, so we'll discuss that, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. So we'll continue with the delivery, but we do have the center open for some activities that we can safely mask and distance. So people are excited to come back now that more and more seniors are getting vaccinated. They're excited to have something to do besides be at their own homes. So I thank you for considering your support to the Senior Center, and I thank you for your support.
Thanks, Bill. Any questions? You say you normally do 60 meals a day, and now you're doing close to 100 meals a day? Is that?
No. Well, over the summer when you guys, were covering the cost of meals for Bucksport seniors, and the most we ever did was 160 a day. We were doing quite a few then. Now, on average, we do 60, and that's just all delivered.
Do you think part of that, Bill, is because of the cost?
Oh, well, yeah, when they were free, we saw a great increase of people getting them because there was no cost associated with it. And
well, I guess my question to you is, so is the need still there? And there are folks that just can't afford it, or was it just a nice to have?
Well, that's a tricky question to answer, because I think one thing, yes, the need is still there. I think there's people out there in the community that would take the meal, but the cost is hindering to them. We try to keep the cost as minimal as we can. We work with RSU 25 on the cost, and they kind of set the cost because of labor cost and food costs and all that. That's how the price is set. So they set the price. We're kind of the delivery system for them. But one thing I did notice, and maybe some of your council people that helped deliver noticed too, there were some people out there that were getting them when they were free that really needed them. And what we try to do is we have what we call a voucher system that's funded just by donations to the center. We have one big donator that donates quite a bit, but then other small private people, churches, every once in a while there'll be a bank that will kick in something. But that funds that voucher program. And what that is, if there's anybody that's living below the line of poverty, we allow them one meal for us for free a week. But we can't put too many people on because we're limited by how much money we get in donations. So
well, I guess that's my question is, if we have funds that we want to direct to you folks, and you know, again, it's at the will of the council. But if we decide that that need is there, and we look at a donation to you, can that be directed to that voucher program directly, I guess?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Any other questions from the council? Sue?
Yes, Mayor Stewart. When we did the Pay It Forward program from April 1st to July 30th, the town paid for about 5,900 meals for, I think it was 5,900, it was over 5,000, which was an expense of over $30,000. It's at $6 each. That's what they, but the value is there. You know, it's a good deal meal, shall we say, for the price. But the cost of trying to maintain as many, and I think Bill would agree that there were some people that were getting it because it was free and not because there was necessarily a financial need, not a huge.
Yeah. I guess what I was looking at was more the voucher program. If that's something that we could target directly, if that need was there to help out 1 or 2 meals a week or something.
That's what you want to do, because Sue's right. There were some people that we delivered to, and they told me, they were very honest with me, and they said they were getting the meals because they were taxpayers in Bucksport, and they felt they deserved it. If someone was getting a meal, they wanted to get one too. But that wasn't everybody. That was a select few. But there were people that were out there, and if the money went to the voucher program, we'd be able to target people that we know that are our regular customers or people that we see in the area that are in need.
Right. Okay.
We have a social worker that works with us quite often, and she targets people that she identifies that she works with, and she calls us up and she says, you know, these people need meals. What can you do? How can you work to help them get meals? And
Is there anybody else from the council? I just want to thank you for the hard work that you've been doing and keep it up. And it certainly is a need out there for us. So I appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Bill. Next is the Bucksport Bay Healthy Communities Coalition.
Can you folks hear me?
We can, Mrs. Dotter. Go ahead.
Hello, Jeanette. Hello. I'll start you with a smile because you can picture this. I meticulously made notes so that I could be impressive to some of you people I know so well. And this very day I had to go and have an injection in my eye. And they told me that for about 24 hours I might have a slight blurriness. Well, they're not kidding, and my notes, you're going to have me just talking to you for a few minutes because you're all quite fuzzy, by the way. But I am Jeanette Tardif, and I am the Vice President of Bucksport Bay Healthy Communities Coalition, and I am honored beyond belief to be the one speaking because I feel very strongly about what I'd like to say to you. I wanted to speak about the coalition's request for $20,000 to fund what we're calling a consulting position. And $20,000 sounds like a lot of money. I know in my life it certainly is. But I think I can show you how wide-reaching this position is and how much of Bucksport it touches and how many people are benefiting now from this position, which, by the way, is held by Lily McCoy right now. She is our VISTA volunteer, and the types of things that we would like to see continue are the types of things that Lily has been doing for the past few months. She came to us on September 1st, 2020, and she'll be leaving us in that position, you know, as a VISTA volunteer at the end of August. And she's just surpassed anything we could have expected. We kept hoping we would receive a good volunteer. We're excited about it. And she's, as the saying goes, blown our socks off with the way she has worked in her position. I've always felt that the success of anything that is volunteer-based depends a lot on people working together, partners working together, and also having someone in a position to collaborate, coordinate, research, follow up. If you don't have those things, sometimes things are just destined, wonderful things are destined to fail. And with Lily in this Vista position, we have had those services. Not just Bucksport Bay Healthy Communities, but the town has had those services. We're always hearing about people who have worked with her in whatever it is they're trying to make happen, and the praise is just unbelievable. Lily's Vista stint with us is going to end, as I said, at the end of August, and we have all sorts of programs and projects across Bucksport that we don't want to see go by the wayside. And we need someone in a position like she's been in for the next fiscal year. Or I'm afraid many of the programs are going to fall by the wayside. And that's not because people don't care. That's just because you do need someone to do that coordinating if you think the programs are worthwhile. And I feel my job tonight is probably to tell you what those programs are. You have seen it in writing, but just to remind you of what at least some of those programs are. And then I think you'll have to make up your mind whether, you know, how you feel about their continuing and improving and moving forward. Some of them I'm very excited about. The programs and I'm trying to think what my notes might have been. The programs and projects are very diverse, covering all sorts of different ages, from people, you know, old geezers like me, down to very, very small children are affected by the programs that Lily's position, I'll call it right now, has been able to support. Sadly, Lily, we hoped that this was a position we could offer to Lily for a year, and it looked like that was going to happen. She was going to continue her education in this area, and it looks like that's not going to be able to happen. But she has committed, if this position is funded, supported, and she is offered the position, she will be with us until the end of November. And she wants this position, what this position has made happen, to continue probably as much as any of us do, and she is excited about training someone. So even if we go beyond Lily, I think you'll find that she will see that this position has sustainability, that what's already started continues to happen. We won't have someone floundering around trying to figure out what to do. Lily has a way of letting you know what should be done and helping you make it happen. I think that she will. And I know I had all sorts of wonderful notes that you would have loved to hear, but instead of that, I'm going to the best of my ability, tell you about some of the programs that she has helped facilitate. Keeping in mind that if projects like this are going to succeed, you need to have groups working together, and you need partners, as we might call them, and you need to have someone facilitating it, someone doing some research, making some calls, finding out things, getting back to people. And I hope that Sue can nod at this time, your town manager, because I think she and Lily have had that relationship. I know Lily is very fond of Sue and of working with her, and I've heard, oh my God, what do you think I taught? I have heard of great things that have come about because of Sue's working with Lily. So she's been just a jewel in this position. Quickly, here are some of the programs in which she has been involved and has helped facilitate. A number of programs connected with COVID, flyers going out, mini COVID vaccination clinics, some of them in congregate housing where it's very difficult for people to get other places to get their shots. A little video was put together. Some of you, I think, are very aware of that video. It's been working with Hancock County Tech. The town's been working on it. Maine Public Maine Public Health Nursing has been working on these programs connected with COVID. Lots of things have happened, of which I'm very proud, and I know some of you folks are too. There's a tech literacy education program that is starting to really move forward. That's for seniors who don't know the first, second, or third thing about working with their computers, and some of them during this COVID pandemic have been very isolated. You know, we think hop on a Zoom and see maybe more people than you want to, but there are seniors who cannot even send an email. And this is a wonderful coordination with Gardner Commons, Bucksport Adult Education, RSU 25, the Senior Citizen Center, and I'm leaving out people I know, but I just want you to get that idea that we have things happening in this town that are unbelievably exciting. We have people working together. We've had all sorts of groups who have worked in the past about how what we need to do is get people working together. It's happening, folks. People are working together at a time when it's often next to impossible to get volunteers. There is the Senior Rides program. Lily has, in her position, has worked helping make that a success. There's been a postcard letting people know, a postcard program of letting folks know that the Senior Rides exist. The public safety people. If I represent this wrong, forgive me, because I know just enough to be dangerous, but I think they had a program, or maybe still have it, called Elder Watch. But now they're working on a Good Morning program where they'll give calls once a week to seniors who, it's kind of a wellness check to see how they're doing. And I can't imagine, in 30, 40 years, I'll be a senior citizen, and I would like to know that that exists for me, someone checking in and finding out if they're okay. And we all have senior citizens in our families, and I think Bucksport is very lucky that the public safety people are working on this, trying to keep them safer, especially during this time of COVID. And keep in mind, everything I mentioned, this consulting position we're talking about is already involved in these things. And without this position, at least that facilitating, that help would stop. There is, there's the Early Childhood Development Program. It's getting some real feet underneath it. It's getting set up. It's starting to function. The committee is beginning to meet. And we have talked, by the way, this is something that I want to make you aware of. We have talked, the coalition has, with Jim Boothby to see if RSU 25 would be interested in helping to fund this position, because some of these programs directly benefit RSU 25. And he was very interested. There were not any monies available at this time, but we're hoping if they do become available, we could renegotiate that. And if we could get funding from for instance, RSU 25, we would be able to ask the town for less. That would be one more person, or one more group, I should say, to help us fund this. The Thriving in Place program, which you've heard so much about in the past, it looks like it may actually happen again. It is closer right now than it has been in a number of years. I'm excited about that. That's keeping seniors in their homes way beyond the number of years that they might be able to do that without the program. And the last one I want to mention is one that's dear to my heart, because I've been running, or helping run, a senior strength program that's met at the Jewett School pre-COVID. And of course, we haven't met since COVID sort of took over our lives in so many ways. And I have tried in my own feeble way to get this online. Seniors are contacting me. We have about 60 seniors who were involved when we were meeting in the Jewett School. 60 didn't show up every week, but we had about 60 people interested. It was just a fantastic way to get seniors out, get them moving, and give them an opportunity to be with other people and talk and find out what's going on in the community. And that kind of came to a standstill. And because of Lily and this position she's been in, and her consulting and working with the YMCA, we are now, I can't believe it, I'm a Zoom star. From 10 to 11, I can see Dan Ormsby laughing. He's picturing that as a Zoom star. But it's true, folks. It's meeting from 10 to 11 every Friday. We've met about 4 or 5, 6 weeks now. We are just moving like silk. It is amazing. They have to put up with me. I'm still learning, but people are showing up. You can't believe this, but there's a student I had just about 100 years ago. She would get me for that. But she is teaching in Cambodia. And all we need is your email to be part of this senior strength training. So I think tomorrow we're going to have one person from Bucksport who is now in Cambodia working out with Jeanette Tardif. I am so excited about that. And I think that's kind of impressive that people are hearing about it. I'm getting all sorts of emails. I wouldn't be a bit surprised, but we only have about 12 to 15 who have been showing up so far. Different, though. There are about probably 25, 35 who are interested and come sometimes. But it's happening, folks, working together. You see the Y, you see the coalition. Here we are. I'm a star. I'm not trying to convince you with this that to buy into Lily and how fantastic she is. We all know this in the town of Bucksport. We'd like to tie her up and keep her here as long as we could. She is amazing. But I'm not trying to sell Lily to you. I'm trying to sell this position to you because I'm sold on it. I really am. I've looked into this. I've done my homework because I didn't want to look too foolish in front of you people. So I've asked everyone who knows much more than I, tell me about all of the advantages of having this position so that maybe you'll go home and think about some of the things I've said other than being a Zoom star. That's what you're going to think of, Dan.
Well, Jeanette, I'm going to stop you there. Your Zoom star is covered, I think, what we needed to cover.
Okay, I thank you for doing that because I'm a little embarrassed because I didn't realize the length I should speak. So I wanted to be sure that I told you everything.
It was no bigger joy of mine to be able to say to you, after you for many years ago telling me to be quiet, it's now.
Well, I take it very, very graciously. And if you have any questions, I will try to answer them. But I guess what I ask you is think about it seriously, because you hear $20,000 and it's like, wow, that's a lot of money for anyone to ask. But we're not asking it for one little small group. You can hear all of those different places that benefit from this position being in place. And thank you for letting me go on so long. But as you can tell, I'm a little bit passionate about this.
The passion rose right to the top, and that's why I didn't stop you earlier. So I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm glad I got away with a little bit then. Thank you so much.
Does anybody have any questions?
We just say no, we want her to go.
Not at all. Not at all. And what the other thing I know we appreciate, and one of the things that we've talked about at the council is when folks show up at the council just to give us updates. I know we started a couple of years ago of not having just people show up on this date, but show up throughout the year and let us know what's going on, because that does matter, and it lets folks in the community know what's going on. It gives us an update, so we know that we've made the right decision when we've taken the precious dollars that we have to spend and we're putting them in the right place.
Yes.
So
I understand that. Just hearing the few people who've spoken, I can see the competition for the money. All of these are wonderful programs, very worthwhile. And it's hard to compete, but we will be back in touch. Lily's been wonderful about keeping in touch. But, you're in trouble now. I'm going to keep in touch with you, Peter.
All right. Fair enough.
Thank you so very much for listening.
Yes. Thank you. Next, we have Bucksport Community Concerns. Is there anybody here from there, Sue?
Yes, I'm from Bucksport Community Concern.
Okay. Do you have any presentation or anything, Lori, or you want any questions, or?
I can tell you all the services we provide. We're not just a food pantry. We also have layettes for newborn babies if there's anybody in need. We have lots of diapers on hand right now because someone did a diaper drive. We do the Christmas program, the Christmases for Kids, and do Christmas dinners, and we have winter coats and spring coats sometimes available. We stay very busy. We also get the commodity boxes from, I've drawn a blank, USDA, I think, commodity boxes through Eastern Area Agency on Aging, and we distribute those in the area. It seems like we're always picking up something extra to do.
Great. Any questions from the council? You guys have been busy this year for sure.
Some months busier than others. People have been getting extra food stamps, so that's made a difference. And then the stimulus checks, when they get one of those, we don't see quite as many people.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next is Community Health and Counseling. Anybody here from Community Health and Counseling? We'll pass for the moment. Let's go back to the library. Is Mr. Knobloch available?
Yes, I believe Mr. Knobloch is available.
There we go. I wouldn't make you wait all the way to the end. We'll bring
I thought you might, Mayor Stewart, but I apologize to everyone for taking up the time. My Zoom talks to the microphone, but my Chrome did not want to, so going into settings. So that being said, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Maybe I'm one of the seniors that doesn't know how to use this. So I'm Doug Knobloch, those of you who don't know me, and I'm representing the Buck Memorial Library, and I'm reading now because I wanted to have something fairly short and sweet. I knew there was going to be a crowd here tonight. In the interest of time, about a week ago, I sent all of you a PowerPoint presentation and what I referred to as a fact sheet. It was a page and a half of the highlights of our year. It's not a report per se, but more the what we've done. And in addition to the pictures that I provided and the fact sheet, it includes the costs, the hours, and the work involved that has been done over the last year. I can't stress enough how many hours were done by our members of the Board of Trustees who volunteered. It's on your sheet. Over 1,000 hours, 1,400 hours. I listed at last count, and that's on the low side. There's also a little blurb on what we did for the community, which was unfortunately fairly small this year because of COVID and so forth. We weren't able to open and offer curbside. That's being overcome as we speak. We're almost there. The collection is 95, 98% barcoded now, which will allow that. And our new director, we should be opening on a partial basis. So did everybody get a chance to look at the fact sheet, or do they have any questions regarding those things?
Are there any questions from the council? You guys have done a nice job in there, Doug.
Thank you very much, and I'd really like it if any of you get a chance to give us come over and have a tour. We're more than happy to show it off, actually. So if anybody wants to, at your convenience, I'll meet somebody there anytime they want. You can come in and take a look around.
Doug, I did get to come see it yesterday. It looked great.
Thank you. Good. We think so, but we spent a good part of the last 8 months in there. And I will tell everybody here, being president of the board is not nearly as glamorous as it seems when you're on your hands and knees in the bathroom putting down base. So.
Right. Very good. Any other questions or comments?
I took a tour as well. I would encourage all the counselors to go see it. They've done a tremendous job.
Well, I'm glad you got your technical difficulties straightened out, Doug, and we have to wait here until all night for you. So I appreciate your presentation.
Well, thank you very much. And as I say, if you have anything comes up, don't hesitate to get a hold of me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Next is the Down East Community Partners.
Hi, my name is Sarah Nugent. I work for Down East Community Partners. We are the community action program that serves Hancock and Washington counties. And so we provide services to reduce the impact of poverty and to support vulnerable people just trying to get by. And I know I sent you a lot of information about the services that we provide, but I wanted to highlight a few things. The first and probably most important thing is last year we invested $500,000 in the residents of Bucksport, providing services that range from transportation to home repair, adult day service, Head Start, school supplies, Christmas presents. We try to touch everybody in some way or another. This year has been a bit of a challenge, but despite the pandemic, we never stopped offering services. We found new ways to do things. We actually served more people in the two counties for fuel assistance than we had in the previous year, all remotely, of course. So we're working hard to continue to provide services. People don't stop needing help just because there's a pandemic. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Also, we do employ 12 Bucksport residents in our programs, so that not only are we providing services to people, we're also providing employment to people. And I think that's about it, unless you have questions for me.
Great, thanks, Sarah. Anybody have any questions? All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, thank you for your support.
Lost my space. Down East Transportation, please.
Paul is unable to be here this evening. Down East Transportation is the program that the town funds annually that provides the Wednesday bus service and the taxi service that meets that, or our contribution to that. Someone's calling me up. Hold on. Hello? Oh, my phone is now dead. So he's not going to be able to be here this evening. I thought it was a call related to this, but he's not going to be able to be here this evening. But the program that is the one that is our connection. It's our public transportation program that is currently offered.
Is that call for us, Sue, or?
No, that's why I answered it and it wasn't, so I hung up on them. So, and I set it off for that purpose. So.
All right. Next on our list is Eastern Area Agency on Aging.
Hello, everyone. Diane Walsh from Eastern Area Agency on Aging. I'm the Executive Director. First, thank you for your support last year for the services we provide. For those of you who aren't familiar with the organization, we serve Penobscot, Piscataquis, Washington, and Hancock counties, primarily serving older adults, caregivers, and primarily anyone over the age of 18. Just to kind of highlight two things from the past year, we've really been focusing on the efforts for the Meals on Wheels program. The federal government expanded the eligibility for people who were eligible for Meals on Wheels. It used to be someone who was homebound by Medicare standards, and because of the pandemic last April, they expanded it to include individuals who were also socially distancing because of the pandemic. So we went from serving about 80,000 meals the year before to 190,000 meals last year across our 4-county area. So we saw a huge increase. The other thing we've just been focused on quite a bit is trying to offer virtual programming to people. We know that's not a fix for everyone, but social isolation, as I know all of you know, is a huge issue for older adults. And so we're trying to connect with them in any way that we can. So we look at the virtual offerings as just another tool in the toolbox. We know it's not a fix for everything, but we're trying to offer things where we can. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the organization or the programs. But again, thank you for your support.
Any questions from anybody? My only question is, the Meals on Wheels, are you serving the same sort of clientele as the food program that the senior center is doing?
You know, that's actually a really good question, Peter. I don't know if, because we don't, obviously don't share information, so I don't know if there's overlap between the two programs. I have met with Bill, and we have talked about, I know he mentioned the dining room, and we have talked about after we're kind of able to meet in person, if we could talk about opening one of our community cafes down in this area. So Bill and I did talk about that. But I can't tell you specifically if there is overlap. I mean, our meals are 1 meal a day, 5 days a week. So obviously that's not covering, everybody's food for, 3 meals a day. But I don't know specifically, honestly, if they are some of the same people or not. Could be, but I don't know. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank
and
you.
Does that operate on a voucher program, or is that, how does that work?
No, the Meals on Wheels program is completely donation based.
Yeah.
So people can give a donation if they want, and some do, and some don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? Great. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Next is Families First Community Center.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm Maureen Bartley. I'm the Program Director of Families First Community Center in Ellsworth. I am a Golden Buck alum. We are a program that offers housing to homeless families with minor children in their custody in Hancock County. We have a 6-unit facility that has the potential to have 43 beds because HUD allows 2 heartbeats per building. Right now, we're anticipating 23 people to fill the 6 apartments. Those are funded by HUD, project-based vouchers. Each family that has an income will pay no more than 30%. And so it's furnished, it's an efficiency style, and we have a community center that will offer workshops on parenting, budgeting. We're basically just coordinate services to help them. The biggest thing we see is the barriers to homelessness, getting people to us, birth certificates, IDs, things like that. So we're asking for $1,000 to help support our operational budget. And our priority is Hancock County first. We have taken referrals from UMass and Home Co-op for the eviction people involved at Spring Fountain Motel. So we are looking to serve people in Bucksport. I've only been with the organization since November, but I am happy to answer any questions. And thank you for having me. And I did receive your $1,000 for last year. It wasn't me that asked, but it was appreciated.
Great, thanks. Any questions? All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next is the Health Equity Alliance.
Hi, I'm Kelly McDonald. I'm here on behalf of Health Equity Alliance. For those of you that don't know what we do, we offer case management to those living with HIV and AIDS. We offer case management to those with a history of drug use or currently using. We also have a food pantry available to any of our clients or the community. We also have LGBTQ+ programs for youth. We put on the Bangor Pride. festival and parade. We also have a syringe exchange, and we offer free naloxone training as well as handing it out to those who need it. I don't think I have anything else prepared at this point, but I am happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Any questions? So you guys serve basically all of Eastern Maine, or?
Yeah, we are actually the northernmost syringe exchange in Maine. So we service Penobscot County. We just opened up a case management and syringe exchange down in Rockland. We're in Machias, Calais, Ellsworth, and I think that's all of them.
Okay.
And in Belfast as well.
All right. Any questions, folks? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Home Incorporated.
Hi, my name is Rosa Moore, and I'm the Assistant Director of Home Inc. This is my first time meeting you guys here at the council, so thank you for having me. I'm just honored to be here. So Home has been around for 51 years, and we provide a number of different services for people in our community. We're located in Orland, but we have some facilities in Ellsworth as well, and also in Dedham. And so we have about 53 emergency shelter beds. These are some of our programs. We have a food pantry. We're doing a pop-up soup kitchen. We provide basic supplies like school supplies for children, and other supplies on demand for people who might come to our door. So just basic needs, but we also have 18 units of transitional housing and permanent subsidized housing in Bucksport. We have a childcare facility, so we have a number of different activities going around in your community. We have right now 22 full-time staff and 18 part-time staff. 13 of those are residents of Bucksport, so that's just something to know. Right now, we're asking the council to consider supporting us with $5,000 for general operating support and to support our wood bank project, which provides emergency heating assistance to people who come to us in our community. And most of the time, these are people who may have already applied to other services like LIHEAP, but there's a gap in assistance. So we've experienced, and I think a lot of the other groups have also experienced this, that it takes a long time to even get into your appointment for heating assistance. And there might be a time in between when there's an emergency going on. So it's really a gap filler for that. And we were lucky enough to be featured in the New York Times recently about that program. So we're proud of that, and we're extremely proud of our staff who, during this pandemic, have really stepped up to meet the needs of the community, at least in my opinion. So in
our opinion too. So keep up the good work.
Thank you. So one of the things that we've been really thinking about is this there's a need for flexibility and in the way that funding comes to us. And with that flexibility, that's the way that Home has, through the last 51 years, really been able to meet the needs of people who come to our door. And I think that's just something to think about as the council considers all of these proposals. And the pandemic has been a good example of that for all of us. That there's just a need for flexibility. So and one of the other things is that we've really had to look at reducing barriers during this time. make it possible and to make it possible for people to reach us, but also to make it possible for us to reach out to them, and just, the easiest way possible. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or thoughts.
Any questions?
I don't have a question, more of a statement. Just wanted to thank you all again. You guys have done an amazing job this year. Certainly, it looks from last year's money well spent. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful for us to hear, and I will share that with our staff who are, really on the ground with people day to day. So
great. Sue?
I just wanted to thank Rosa and Mary, who's also on the call from home, for stepping up. Tracy, the director, is recovering from some surgery and was unable to be here this evening, and so they've stepped up to make this presentation to the council, and I appreciate that. And we all send good wishes to Tracy and a quick recovery, but I would echo Councilor Rankin in that the assistance just in the most recent, not to mention what was happening during the pandemic, but with this whole spring fountain stuff has been invaluable. So thank you both for coming, and give Tracy our best.
Thank you. That means a lot to all of us.
Thank you.
Have a good night, ladies. Next is Hospice of Hancock. Anybody here from Hospice?
That's Val Suya. She's on the call by phone. She's just going to have to unmute herself. I can see her phone number.
If I might, if Val cannot figure out how to unmute herself, I'm here for Loaves and Fishes, but I serve on the board of Hospice Volunteers, and I can certainly speak to that.
Well, how about you go off with the Loaves and Fishes, and we'll see if Val gets on, and if not, then we'll let you go into that also.
Okay, I can give you a twofer tonight. Okay. I'm Andy Matthews. I'm the president of the board of Loaves and Fishes, and we want to thank you for your support. Relatively new to the support of Bucksport. Last year was the first year that we were funded. We are a food pantry serving all of Hancock County. Since 2018, the number of families from Bucksport has nearly doubled that are using our services. Folks right now come roughly once a month, although for the past year we've let them come whenever they needed to come. And they leave our pantry with about $350 worth of groceries, personal hygiene items. We have a very large section of baby items as well. Obviously, food insecurity has been a huge issue, especially over the last year, but it continues and it will continue. It's not an easy fix even as we come out of the pandemic. And so we are looking at ways to reach as many folks as we can. We're looking at putting in a delivery service. We know that there are a lot of folks who need our services and can't get to us. We've had some folks supporting us in that over the past year, but they're having trouble finding drivers, et cetera. So that is something that we're working on, finding a way to fund as we move forward. I don't know if you have any questions. Obviously, you've heard from a lot of food support agencies already tonight.
Sure. Any questions? Did we have any luck with Val?
I don't see her on meeting.
No.
If you want to speak on a couple words to the hospice.
Sure. I serve as a board member for Hospice Volunteers of Hancock County, and again, it's an organization that serves all of Hancock County. We provide bereavement support, we provide patient care, volunteers. We have full employees, but the rest of our services are all volunteer supported. I don't have, I didn't know I would be speaking, so I don't have data for Bucksport, so I apologize for that.
Just so you know, we have a full packet from all from
Right.
everybody too, so yeah.
Right. And we have been able to, while our office was closed has been closed for the past year, we're just being staffed by our executive director. We've really pivoted, as a lot of other folks have shared tonight, and have been offering a huge array of online services, and really kind of morphed a little bit because, you know, typical bereavement services is one thing, but people are grieving the life they used to know before COVID, and so we're having lots of issues of depression and trying to address those, and you know, through our bereavement services and our patient care services. We've not been able to, for a lot of that time, have had our volunteers physically visiting with clients, but they've continued to support them virtually as much as possible. We've had a few that have been going in for a few months now. They were some of the early folks in terms of getting vaccines through our connection with working with Northern Light Hospice. So, any questions?
Way to step up. Nice job.
Sorry, and I know if poor Valerie could hear us, I know I was actually in our board meeting. I had to leave the hospice board meeting to come do this for Loaves and Fishes, and they were telling me that Val was stressed out about trying to be part of the meeting.
You can tell Val you did a great job, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't unmute.
That was you.
Okay.
He's there.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh.
You had a great presentation, Val.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, you have the application, don't you? You said you did
Yes.
for the funding? Okay,
Yep.
so you know that the numbers that are on that form. I won't go over that, but I have been involved with hospice since it started, which is 41 years. So I've got a lot of experience, and I hope that you understand that we use this money for not for salaries but for care, and we really are glad to continue the program. So, okay. So I guess if you're having any, she did a good job. I heard what she said. So
Yeah.
we're the only one in Hancock County, the volunteer group that's profitable, that is free to the patient. So we want to continue. Okay.
Great.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Val.
very much. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Bye.
All right. Next is jumped around Life Flight Foundation. Is there anybody here from Life Flight? I think last year didn't we not have anybody here? We just they asked for a donation.
Life Flight is having a big event celebrating their new helicopter.
New helicopters, right? Yeah.
Today, and I was invited to participate in that in the Mid-Coast area, but had to decline because their thing was happening when this was happening, and so I think that's probably their.
And again, we've got information from Life Flight, so if anybody has any questions, we can discuss it. But I think we're all aware what Life Flight does and what their money is used for. Maine Family Planning, WIC. Is there anybody here from Maine Family Planning? How about Northern Light Hospice? The only one I don't recognize, Sue, is the phone number itself. Is that?
I don't recognize that phone number either.
Okay. I will ask one more time. Do we have anybody here from Maine Family Planning WIC or Northern Light Hospice?
What is the way to unmute a phone? Isn't it different?
It's right on the phone itself.
Is it? Okay.
No, I think it's *6, Dan, or something along those lines.
All right.
When you're actually calling
It
in.
is. This is Jackie Wells. Can you hear me?
Yes, it is Star.
Yeah, Jackie, where are you from?
Hi, I'm from Northern Light Home Care and Hospice.
Okay.
I was unmuting my phone. Now I learn this is like Zoom. You *6 to unmute. But thank you all for your time tonight. Northern Light Home Care and Hospice works with so many of the organizations that have presented already tonight. Whether it's our social workers who are in the home helping people that are just recovering from illness or surgery, or it's our nurses helping them recover. In home health services, we did take care of 56 people last year and made 851 visits. Our hospice program, so we are the Medicare provider of the clinical hospice services in Hancock County. We contract with the hospice volunteers of Hancock County to provide our volunteer services. So 5% of hospice services need to be required by volunteers, need to be provided by volunteers. So in other areas throughout our organization, we have volunteer coordinators. In Hancock County, we contract with Hospice Volunteers of Hancock County. So last year, we took care of 15 hospice patients and made 517 visits out in Bucksport. But as I mentioned, we work with the TIP program, we work with the food pantries. Our social workers, when they're in there visiting with patients, refer them to a multitude of organizations. Our reimbursement is from Medicare, MaineCare, and other insurers, but MaineCare reimburses us at 50% of the cost of our care. So we are providing that care regardless of ability to pay. We've also been doing a lot of pop-up vaccine clinics in Hancock County. Our vaccine clinics we're trying to get to people, that are homebound, so we're working with Eastern Maine Area on Aging. We are working with other communities to get people vaccinated, those who have trouble getting to vaccination clinics. So we are out there, we've been out there testing people, swabbing people. We do get reimbursed, but it's the MaineCare reimbursement that tends to throw our budget under the bus. So we appreciate your help, and if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, anybody here from Maine Family Planning? Okay. The next item on the budget is Parks and Rec. I think, is Peter here?
Peter is here.
And Matt?
Matt had an
Yes,
invitation.
Yes, I'm here. My camera's just not working.
All right.
Hi, folks. It's great to see everybody. I know that you have our proposal. We're going into our fourth year together. Can you believe it's been 4 years? It's been awesome. I'm incredibly optimistic that we're going to be able to get back on the horse of recreation this year. For a couple of reasons, I'm very optimistic. The vaccine being out, I know there's a lot of news of late, but also what I'm seeing in the recreation field in the sense of people coming back to memberships, people engaging into activities, and more importantly, what we're planning for this summer in collaboration with the school department, and which is a collaboration with our summer camp and summer school that is going to serve we hope to be a ton of kids, and doing so, Mr. Boothby's providing access to the schools, which I think is a wonderful sign for the future, especially for the programs that Matt's going to talk about shortly. You'll note that in our proposal, we've kept level funding in anticipation of ramping up. We do greatly appreciate the support last year during some really crazy times and a lot of unknown times. A couple of things that I do want to say that we have a full team of aquatics ready for the outdoor pool. So we're really excited. Talking swimming lessons in the morning and then swimming in the afternoon. And so Max and Matt have the team of lifeguards ready, which is really excellent. And so I'm pretty proud of them. This past year, we did have some successes during the pandemic. I want to congratulate Matt and Josh for a great camp season. With all the protocols, by golly, we did not have one case of COVID-19, and I credit their due diligence. And when you have Chief Gagan keeping an eye on you, you make sure you don't make any boo-boos. And so it was really a great summer from that perspective. And then this past year, Matt and Caitlin and his team have been working with the school with remote care in regards for schooling out at the Ayers Community Center, and that's been going well. It looks like it's going to be phasing into full in school, which I think we all support. And so it's we're moving right along and getting excited for the spring and summer. And so I'd like to throw it over to Matt to talk about some of the things that he's planning for this summer. Matt.
Thank you, Peter. And again, thank you, Council, for hearing us out and setting this meeting up. It's a great time. As far as remote care, we've been able to provide a learning space for 20 students from the beginning of the school year all the way up until now. It does look like majority of them will be going back to in-person. So for them, that's great. It's getting back to somewhat normalcy. But the remote care program has been tremendous from the get-go. It's kept the students on a relatively normal schedule, having to get up, get ready for school, go to school, and so on. We'd like to thank the RSU for working closely with us and making sure we got our ducks in the row and benefiting the kids, but also Ken Foster and the North Bucksport Foundation for opening their doors for this program. As far as spring into summer, we're going to offer soccer and football for the youth in our community. I'm hoping to get some more volunteers on board so we can have these programs and for the kids getting, again, back to some normalcy, obviously following the CDC guidelines within the community sports. Summer camp gearing up. Just had a meeting this afternoon and looking forward to the future. It looks like our young bucks will be going to Camp Discovery for some kayaking, archery, canoeing, all sorts of different activities every other Friday. And then like Peter said, in collaboration with the RSU, any of the students that do go to the summer school from the month of July into August will have the opportunity to join us at summer camp for more fun activities so their parents can stay at work and be able to provide for their families. Going into summertime, we do have Bucksport U14 softball that is following under us. They have been practicing over at Field for Kids, and their first set of games is in June. I think it's the weekend school gets out down in Waterville. All their games will be down in Waterville, and we wish them the best of luck. We will be offering T-ball for our little ones. So any little one that wants to hit a baseball around or field a baseball or softball, we're more than happy to provide that opportunity. And then we also want to make sure feet are there for the adults of the community. We're going to offer a softball league, a kickball league, and hopefully a 3v3 basketball league, all following guidelines that are set, of course, and really just trying to get some normalcy back to our community. And looks like our fitness center will go back to normal operating hours pre-COVID on June 21st for at least the summer. I'll talk to Mr. Boothby as we get closer to middle of the summer as far as what's it going to be like when school's back in session. Like Peter said, we do have a full staff for the pool, all ready to go. Swim lessons in the morning, and then free swim for the community in the afternoons from 12 to 6. And then big question mark I've had, and I've briefly talked with the chief about it, is tackle football. We are in need of new helmets. We may have 5 that still have a year left of eligibility, I would say. I'm going to put a poll out to the community to see how many 5th, 6th graders are interested in tackle football and plan to come out for it. But we ultimately are kind of on the fence of, well, do we want to go out and spend this money on the helmets if we can't have tackle, or do we not spend the money and then ultimately we can play tackle? So that's what I got for you guys, and I appreciate your time.
Great.
And and I'm definitely an optimist because I think I'm going to say we're going to have football this fall, and because I got to believe that, and but we're going to definitely back up to see when we have to order the helmets to a go no go date, so that it makes a lot of sense. But I am going to stay optimistic, and we really look at the COVID guidelines and follow them to the letter. And I'm knocking on wood. We've been very successful so far, and we're going to continue to do that. And so we did send Susan. We did send that capital improvement plan. We looked at different things. Do you want me to briefly talk a little bit about that? Or is that at another time?
Everything that's part of a capital plan has its own meeting where the council discusses parameters, but it is, just sort of dinging off the things that were, without getting into the weeds on all of them, so that everybody's kind of aware of the discussions we've had about what some of the needs are as we move forward. The council did talk last week and gave the blessing to look at concessions at the pool. That was they were willing to look at that type of a proposal. You updated that today or yesterday. Days run together in terms of operating it out of the current bathhouse instead of the old one. But yeah, so if you want to just tick off the, looking at combining pickleball and the ice rink and those kind of things, that would be.
Okay, I'll do that now, and I will be brief. The concession stand idea, we've been thinking about that, and what I thought for this coming year is to provide a concession stand within the Emory building instead of doing any type of renovation or major work in the old bathhouse. And it'd be like a test run to see how well received it is. And the idea behind the concession stand is to enhance the family environment of the Emory pool, try to offer more. And then we have some ideas of how it could be sustained down the road a piece. So I think the investment to that would be very minimal, And because you're talking, ice creams, drinks, steamed hot dogs, stuff, little things that would be very easy to manage and maintain, and provide, for the families. So that's kind of what our thought is, and we'll put some hard numbers down and get them over to Susan, but it's going to be light, because it will cover itself, and we believe it'll really give a flavor for people that might need it. The thought of the ice rink, you have some of the needs that are there from the plan we presented, but we're kind of thinking, I'm going to be meeting with a guy from Maine Tennis to look at putting some pickleball courts and what the cost would be on the ice rink. Try to have a year-round activity. We also have a plan that, we talked a couple of years ago about reducing the size of the ice pad to be more manageable for the volunteers and staff, and to keep a better ice during the season. That's going to be implemented for next year. So it'll be a reduced area, but a very nice area for people to skate. But we are going to look at that, and we would bring back information once the meeting is the last week of April, Susan, with Maine Tennis. They're pretty booked up there, but I think it would provide a great pickleball, folks. It's huge. It's fun. It's stand-up ping pong, and for all ages. And it'd be nice to maximize if the council decides to put some investment dollars into the ice shack and that area. It'd be nice to have it, year round, versus just one season. And I think it'd be well received. So. Matt, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. Okay. I think that covers it.
Any questions from the council? Peter, the only question I got on your budget is just the additional cleaning costs. Is that COVID related, or?
That's not his.
That's not me.
It's not mine, but it is the cost of the cleaning service that does the town office and the public safety building, also doing the senior center.
Okay.
Because the senior.
Last thing I saw was your name, Peter, associated with it, so I was going to yell at you for something.
So. Whoa! But yes, there is a lot of cost for this COVID cleaning. I hear you.
Yes.
So.
All right. Any other questions? I think it's great that we can hopefully get back to some normalcy, increase some programming. I think you're right about the pickleball, and using that area up there year round it's all part of our recreational assets we've got up there. So why not?
Yeah, and I think people are brewing for some big activities. So we got to get ready and be ready for the community. So put the word out. We do need volunteers to help Matt, because I really do think kids are going to be aching, and we do need help. And so
right.
we're doing a lot of pleas out there to
Perfect.
get people. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate everything.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, all.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you.
How do I get out of this?
Say goodbye. All right. Marina, I think I saw Mike and Rich still here.
Yes, we are both here.
I'm here.
Go ahead, Mike.
Can you hear me all right?
Got you covered. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Let's look up, where do I start?
How much money do you want? There's a good start.
Okay, I'll take whatever I can get. How's that?
All
right. We haven't really had too much changes in the marina budget for this year. Last year was kind of an off year because of the COVID and a late start, and so overall our percentage in the budget, the salaries and stuff is about 4% increase total. This year we're going to talk about having a third person on just Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. And Bill and I will swap every other weekend. So it'll be one of us in that third person on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. And that will help out greatly because a lot of weekends one person is pretty busy for. So does anyone have any, looking down through the budget, does anyone have any specific questions about certain items?
You all set with gas, diesel? That gonna be ready to go?
The gas and the diesel, the gasoline and diesel will be charged when GAFTEC shows up after we put the floats in the 5th and 6th of May. They have to come in and hook up the rest of the piping down to the float itself for the first time. So, and they're going to have to charge the system and check it for any problems or leaks or anything like that. And so we'll be doing that then. I have not yet filled the diesel tank because I'm waiting for them to let me know when they want it full. So we'll fill the gas and the diesel at that time. And hopefully everything will run smooth. They certainly upgraded the electrical to everything, so they've done a good job with that. And we have an emergency shutoff now, quite a ways away from the pump itself. It's in fact, it's right behind the heating system for the building. So it's right on the outside wall. So that works out good.
The heat pumps work good?
Awesome. We raised the cost of electricity a little bit. I think we added $1,000 in. It has run us a little bit more on the winter months, but we kept the building heated to 60 degrees all winter, which kept us from having to remove everything that freezes. And in the past years, I've had to take it all up to my shop and leave it in my shop over the winter. But this year it was nice. We could leave everything there on the shelves and not have to worry about anything frozen. And actually, the building was warm all winter, and it was really nice to be in and out. And especially Bill and I work in the spring when it was cold. It's been nice on the cold days to get a little bit warm.
And we saw the resolve last week to get the new docks, so we're expecting those.
Those new floats will be built over the summer. We won't have any except for the ones Bill and I have built. We just finished one that we had 80% done last fall. We finished it up this week, and we've moved on to building one more. So we're building a 40 by 8 foot float right out in front of the Marina House right now. In fact, we just set up the frame today, and so we'll be putting that together, and hopefully within a week or week and a half that will be all completed. The floats on the bottom, the poly floats, are very hard to get right now. I had asked to have a bunch, and they supposedly set them aside at Custom Float, but some other salesman grabbed them and sold them to somebody else. So I had to get a different type, but it's the same amount of flotation. It's just they're a lot bigger. They're 4 by 4 by 2 instead of 2 by 4 by 2. So they're a lot bigger, but there's the same amount of flotation. So, and he was able to get me those, so I have them there.
Sue, do you have something?
I just wanted to say, Mike, did you want to say anything to the council about what you think the season's going to be in terms of boaters and our marina capacity, etc.?
Well, if phone calls is any indication of what the season's going to be like, we're going to be busy. I believe I have a waiting list for slips right now, and I definitely have a waiting list for 40-foot slips. I think they're all gone. I'm still waiting on a couple people to let me know if they're coming back or not for this year. Next year, I'm going to make a new rule that they're going to have to tell me by April 1st because it's too hard to tell people yes or no whether they can have a slip or not. So right now, I'm not going to know until sometime in May whether they're all going to be back or not. So yeah, we're going to be busy, and I'm hoping that I've been telling everybody that has diesel boats, A lot of them fill up before they come to Bucksport because we never had diesel in the past, so I'm asking them to hold off and buy the diesel from us. I'm pretty sure our cost of our fuels will be lower than the other facilities around the area, which they always have been. Right now, we have a lot of people from Hamden area that fill up in Bucksport, and they because of our fuel costs. So, yeah, I'm looking for a good season. I hope we have some good transient vessels come in and things return to somewhat like normal.
Great. Any questions from the council?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add, if I could, so what that was, that bid that we're talking about that the council accepted last week, and thank you for that, those are the main floats. So again, Mike and Bill have completed one, they're finishing the second, and then the other 10. So that is the main area. We will need to replace A, B, and C mains as well as all the finger floats. So I do want to let you know that we will be coming forward sometime for the next fiscal year as well to continue that process, because all the floats, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, are 20, 21 years old and are showing their age.
Yeah, they're actually 24 years old, most of them, and they are showing their age. The wood is generally not rotted, but it's so dried out that it doesn't have any, you put a screw in it and it really doesn't hold it well. So, I mean, they're getting pretty old. So the floats we're building right now, unfortunately, because of cost of everything, is approximately almost $22 a square foot. So you could take any float size out there and times the square footage on the deck area, and you can have a general cost of how much it costs to make a float.
When I know you told us, when are those going in?
They're going in the 5th and the 6th of May. The crane will be here. Probably the town dock floats will go in first, and then we'll move over to the marina. And Bill and I should have that other float, the main, done. We broke 2 of the main floats last summer during storms, and they buckled because of the pressure on the sea dock section with all the big boats on it being pushed in with the south wind. And the floats are getting older, and they just can't take the other thing we have that we're going to be asking for. I don't think you have anything in your budget yet for it, but we'd like to drive one set of Dolphin right behind Sea Docks. And so we have the one Dolphin that's out there towards the hotel. And then that same company goes by Bucksport all the time. And we asked him if it was possible he could drive another one for us directly behind the Sea Dock area. And that would keep the pressure off that dock so that breakage would never happen again. So he said he could do it. He gave me I don't know if I sent it to you, Rich, his estimate. Yep. So we have the estimate to be done, and that can go in anytime once the docks are in. He don't want to do it until the docks are in so we can get it in exactly the right place.
Yes, and one last thing about the marina. In 5 days, the Down East Magazine summer edition will feature an ad that we placed for the Bucksport Marina and Town Dock. That'll hit newsstands April 20th, and it's a very big publication in the Northeast.
Very good. Any other questions? Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you.
Waterfront Town Dock. Did we just talk about that?
No, Waterfront's a little separate. That's Ronnie Gross and staff. The only increase you will see in the budget is the waterfront wages, and that's it. Everything else is remaining the same.
I saw you got the bathrooms all open this weekend, or?
They are all open this weekend. This year.
How bad are they, Rich?
What's that?
How bad are they?
I've actually been able to replace everything without having to come to the council. So the bathroom down by the CSO building, if you don't recall, when Bucksport football played in the state championship, was vandalized that morning. I stayed behind. We got it taken care of, and that was repaired. So that's the urinal and everything there is good. Toilet's good. In the bathroom over by Warren's Waterfront Restaurant, I've been picking away with building maintenance funds to take care, have replaced both toilets, both soap dispensers, both 2 hand dryers in there as well. So the only things that have not been replaced since I've been on board are the 2 sinks. So I have replaced the nozzles. I am looking to paint the building and to paint the doors. And as long as nothing major happens, I can do that just like I have been right out of building maintenance and repairs.
Rich, I don't know if you remembered or not, but the hot water for the bathroom.
Yeah, Mike was able to. So the bathrooms on the waterfront, by Warren's Waterfront Restaurant, there is no hot water. There's no hot water tank. It's only cold. And I wish Luke was on here, but I believe code says you have to provide hot water. And especially during COVID, it'd be nice to use warm water for 20 seconds to wash your hands. So I did get a quote for that, and I'm just going to check my funds to see if we can get that done out of my budget for this year. But the estimate on that was $1,175.70.
All right. Any other questions for Rich?
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Last thing we've got on here is CIP, Capital Improvement Program.
Okay, if you give me a minute, I'll put up the overall sheet. As was stated before with recreation, which is separate from this, but these are all requested. The funding into the CIP this year is for a number of things, but the requests that you see under it are what the department heads see as the needs for this year, but every one of those items is an agenda item at which the council determines whether or not that is a priority that can be met this year. So I'll put it up on the screen so that you can, the public can see what I'm talking about, and you can, but it is,
There is no commitment to any of this.
No, this is that's the cut to the chase version. Yes. Hold on.
This is Rich and the Chiefs, not everybody's wish list. So.
Okay. What this sheet shows you is kind of where things were money-wise. And I will note that the waterfront reserve, which shows the big negative, is because that was paying for the engineering on the town dock, and we've started to receive some of the grant money back from that amount. So that's what that is. But that's the main sheet, and it sort of gives you a where we start, where we end up look. And then, but it's based on the fact that if these things down here occurred, that's where we'd end up. So if we don't, it doesn't. But the items such, the cruiser is basically an annual expense. Public safety, the roof repair, the ad bunkroom and office item. I put some new information on your Google Drive today, which was an estimate to do that work, which is about half the cost of what's listed on this item. Town garage, it's replacing doors, the Broadway extension piece of Park Street, the highway equipment, which is the items that are on their CIP for this year and what that comes out to. Ian's playground stuff, the town office, which we've had on the repaint the interior for several years, but I'm having a dreadful time getting people to bid on that, and have for several years. The chimney, as you know, the cap is off. We had removed that so it didn't fall off, but the remainder of the chimney needs to be rebuilt. The fire department, this is the repeater upgrade, their annual gear replacement request, rescue equipment replacement, and then tank or two chassis and pump replacement, which is approximately $165,000, but I put here on a 5-year term. And again, all of these will come to you as considerations. And then economic developments, I identified out of downtown improvements for marketing plan work for the retainer fee and the logo and the tagline and pamphlets and the website, and then picnic tables. And I'm not sure if that picnic tables was addressed last week, Rich, or is this additional picnic tables? But this is just an overview of what the department heads see as that, but the discussions on these will happen with the council as these items come forward to determine that.
So is Sean still on the call?
I am.
Sean, on the police cruiser, I know we had talked about a canine cruiser. Is that separate and above? Because that was part of the grant. Is that correct? Or are we looking at 2 cruisers?
That is separate and above, so we're still in discussion on that, but you could be looking at 2 cruisers, but I'm not sure with the program itself, that I believe that's a year out anyway, Mr. Mayor, so we may be looking at keeping a cruiser instead of purchasing 2 in the future.
Okay. Because I from back when I had a dog, I think now they have cages and it's all self-contained, isn't it? So they're not destroying the cruisers?
Yeah, it's all self-contained, automatic remote doors, things like that. Yes.
Okay. And again, I don't know, Sue, if we can ask, but I know we had the street sweeper discussion. I see that's still on there, and I just didn't know if we had
I provided some information in that same updated on your Google Drive for tonight, where our Public Works Director got some pricing on what one of those units would cost to rent if you could locate one, and also some information on the cost that on a contract the state put out for catch basin cleaning, but that contract was based on the state and literally doing thousands of them. But since that discussion, the uses of the street sweeper are beyond catch basin cleaning, and they're cleaning up at accident scenes and job sites for Public Works on an ongoing basis. And if the town doesn't have one of its own, the services that it does, in addition to, we could hire a contractor to do the catch basins, or maybe have them come in and sweep once a year, would be a distinct change in the service level that we get out of having this this thing. And the problem is, for one that does what this one does, pick up leaves, sweep the streets, wash things down, pick things up, they're not available to just go call them and say we need one tomorrow. They're coming from somewhere else because they're not available in this area to do. So.
And I don't disagree. I think it's like anything we deal with in budgets. We've got to make a determination of what what folks want, what we're willing to spend money on. I wanted to raise it so we at least have a discussion about it, and we can certainly look at it as we go. So thank you for the information. Does anybody have any questions on the CIP at all? Again, that will all come up when the requests come in for the information that they want to spend, but it still leaves some money in the budget there for stuff.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
I know Ed, and Ed, you might want to take over this question, but you had brought up earlier with the cruiser, the kind of the all-inclusive equipment. You probably know more about that than I do, but is that what we're looking at in this budget, or is that different?
I don't know what they've budgeted in.
And Dan, that $45,000 or $47,000 is for a cruiser with some equipment. In each one of those cruisers at this point, to replace all that equipment, a rough estimate off the top of my head is you're looking at $15,000 to $20,000 in equipment in those cars. So we would have to add to that if we were to replace all new equipment. So that is not with all new equipment in it.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, next week we are back at regular council meeting, council time at 7 o'clock. I don't believe we have any committee meetings or anything, do we? So we will be back.
I'm nodding my head like you can hear it rattle. No, we don't have any schedule.
So we'll be back at regular council, and we'll go from there.
Next week is your last big night. The meeting after that is a discussion with education on May 6th, but it's the last. We're doing this every Thursday night. It's the last one of those prior to May 6th.
Yeah, I'll throw it out like I have in the past. We do pretty well for a small town. We have good services. We offer a lot of things, and I think, folks sitting around this Zoom here are doing it the right way. And hopefully, if we're not, I think the folks will let us know. But I think we're going in the right direction. We're doing the right thing. So I applaud everybody here for helping out and keeping us going in the right direction. So with that, take a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor? Seeing most of us, have a great night.
Night all.